Hello, everybody. Sorry I was late. I had to visit the restroom. So, I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare. You are in the right place. This is live chat. We do this every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And a topic partway through. Other than that, we talk about what you guys want to talk about. So, let's get into it. Please keep your comments family friendly. Scroll up here. Yeah, Steve and Aaron, I know. Sorry. Hey, Verna's here. Verna's here. First in here tonight. All right. Third like. Verna, you will see in blue with a little wrench, and she is Vay's place. If you live in apartment setting or small living like that, you go ahead and go over to her channel and check her out. She grows her food in apartment setting. All right. Good evening, Aaron. He says, good evening, everyone. Aaron was our guest last week, so I guess I had one more question, one follow-up question for our B guest, and that is, does Quick Strike affect them at all? Just wondering. Quick Strike is for flies, and I'm guessing permethrin does. All right. If you didn't watch that, that was last week's live. And Dawn's here. Welcome, Dawn. All right. And Steve's here. He was the fourth. Aaron snuck one in there. Hi, Steve. So Dawn says, going to be a long road to haul, but I'm ready to start it. Not sure what you're talking about, but good luck. And Buster's here. Hey to all. Welcome, welcome. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Oh, is this with your knees, Dawn? Yes, good luck. Good luck. Who's late? Me. Sorry, Steve. Just wanted to make sure you were here, Steve, because I knew you wouldn't say anything if I wasn't here. I mean, if I was here. Anyway. Oh, Dawn says no animals until all of your health stuff is over. Yeah, mobility issues limit that, and you will have animals after. I know this. I know that you love your animals, and you will have animals after. And I hope you are able to do your hydroponics during that, or maybe someone else can do that for you. It's a little easier to convince people to take care of plants than animals, and it's kind of funny because sometimes the animals are actually the easier ones to take care of, depending on what they are. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Steve says, Dawn, you have to get your first animal up to speed first, yourself. Absolutely. Steve, I'm here. Yeah, get the surgery first, get yourself all good, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Oh my gosh, Steve and Aaron. Yes, I was late. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, Dawn, good luck with that. Good luck, because yes, here I am. Good luck with that, because that is we are all rooting for you. I am sure. I know I am. Steve, did you message me on Facebook? I don't have Facebook open all the time on my phone or anything like people do. I actually log in and look at it, you know. Otherwise I would be on there all day, and I don't need that. But thank you, Steve. All right, Ed's gonna be back later watching anime. Ed, thank you for letting me know. I again was not on Facebook when you gave me the message. Apparently, the live that we did, the Cook With Me live on Saturday, was live for everybody. And then members couldn't only members could comment. So I missed a button. It is now corrected. So you sneaky ones that watched it, you better sign up. In fact, I should probably at this point in the show advertise that. We had a lot of fun. And it is very reasonably priced. You have 3 different options and you get the same thing. So, hey. And here is the link to go to join, because we had a really good time. We celebrated Erica's birthday. I don't know if she's on here or not, but we made carrot cake, homemade, with cream cheese frosting, homemade. And we made quail soup with dumplings, homemade. And it was fun, and we ate together, and we laughed together, and it's always a good time. So if you're interested in that, I just put the link up there to sign up. And there's always a link in the bottom. It says join. Unless you have Apple product, then it has to be different. Anyway, there you go. All right. I'm going to sneeze, maybe. Excuse me. Verna says, Katrina, Smokey had her litter today on the 31st. Awesome. But not on the 31st today, on the 31st day. Rabbits generally give birth on the 30th, 31st, 32nd. That's kind of the window that I've seen, at least for meat rabbits. Awesome. How many? So as you guys saw this morning, if you watched the video in the weekend review, both risotto and Penne had their kits, and they both had their first kindling, and both of them had 9 babies and none dead, which is really, really impressive for first timers. And then both of them proceeded to lose 1 baby. So they're doing good now. I haven't checked this afternoon yet, but they're doing good. Last night, Penne's babies had some really good milk bellies going on. I was a little worried about them. I did check kind of midday. I just kind of felt in risottos, and they were, warm and wiggly, so that's good. So yeah, they're doing good. Here you go. All right. And Aaron says, we're talking about fly control with bees in mind. Quick Strike isn't bad because the bees are not interested in it. I have Quick Strike bait station only a few feet away from some hives. So I have another question in regards to Quick Strike, because I have accidentally dissolved some Quick Strike in some water, and that did take out the flies that were interested in that. And so that's another question for, if it's wet and it goes out into soil or something. I know you're indoors. I think you're indoors, but if it goes into some soil, is that going to be affecting? We had some fly births today. And so they are back. Different species hatched out today than was here the last couple of weeks. The one from last couple of weeks, population is definitely reducing. I've been using, this is the topic of the day. We're just going to talk about it now. I've been using fly predators, which I think they are working. They obviously don't knock down all of them. I believe they're knocking down some of them. Those are little tiny wasps that are parasites of the once the larvae become, oh my gosh, what are they called? Once they're pelletized. Oh my gosh, I'm missing the words today. Anyway, and so they will parasitize that part, and then so they don't ever become a fly. And so I've been doing that, and then I've been doing these super, super big sticky traps and wrapping buckets, you know how tomato cages are not good for anything except for maybe peppers? I have some pretty giant tomato cages that I just don't use, so I just wrapped them too. So I have that going on. Anyway, I'm wanting to reduce, and Quick Strike I have found outdoors, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work well because I think there's too much air movement to attract them to it. But I'm thinking if I sprinkle around the areas like near, but not like in with the birds, near the areas where I think they may be coming out. I figured that might work. Anyway, I'm just trying to get information so I don't hurt my bees. Well, not my bees. I don't have bees, but bees in the area. All right. Yeah, cool, but bees don't go for it. Absolutely. I didn't think they did, but sometimes when you look on the back of a package, you'd rather just ask someone who has the animal that isn't supposed to be impacted, because sometimes they don't really tell you, right? Like permethrin, I was like, okay, from everything I was seeing people, oh yeah, that's okay to use around chickens. That's okay. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I don't really want to use this. Like you read through the actual things going on and you're like, maybe not. So anyway, I like the pollinators in my yard. I like the good bugs in my yard. That's the thing I want to keep. All right. Dawn says, I think I can do the hydroponics. I've been doing them except when I was stuck in bed. Awesome. 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 Buster says, congratulations on the new kits. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they were bred on the same day, and Penne had hers one day after risotto. So yeah, and they both had them like early evening. It's kind of weird. Not usually they have like midnight one, sometimes early morning, not when the daylight's out. It's kind of interesting. May have had to do with what time I bred them. I don't know. Oh, Dawn, you did do hydroponics while you're in bed? But long story. I don't know that I want to hear that story. Did you like what happened? Maybe we do. Yeah, and Dawn, I want to know too from Verna, how many in the litter? And Buster saying congratulations on your kits, Verna. Absolutely. Oh, Smokey is the mean one? You give her at least 24 hours before checking to find out? Probably 8. That is what she had last time. It's kind of funny. They kind of stick with about the same amount usually. I know Rigatoni had 5 and now she has 7. And not Rigatoni. This is Rigatoni's first litter. Ravioli had 5 and now she has 7. And then Rigatoni has 7. And then both of these girls had 9 and have 8 now. Yeah. Verna, these farmer sleeves, I haven't dealt with an aggressive rabbit, but these farmer sleeves, and I'm not sponsored. If Farmer Sleeves is listening and wants to sponsor me, I would accept. But those are super good. And they're made out of recycled bottles, like plastic bottles. So there's lots of different designs. They always have specials and stuff. So there's not a special, wait for special. And it has the silicone grip up here, and then it does your hand. And blood does wash out of it. I used these when processing rabbits. So, I mean, that's white-ish color, kind of like a tan white, and it washed out fine. So I recommend these. Again, I haven't dealt with like super duper, rabbit that wants to kill me, but I have dealt with the kits that, they scratch and stuff, and I haven't gotten scratched when I wear these. So that's pretty cool. They're good for zucchini thorns. They're not great for things like blackberries. They're not that thick. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. And Verna. That's what I have to do to get blessed around here. Gotta sneeze. Hey, Vicky's here. Hello from Roseville, just east and north, or Sacramento. Yes, you are somewhat local to me. The most local one so far that has commented. I hope you're doing well, and I hope the heat isn't too hot up there for you. I know we kind of had a heat boom right now. Yeah. And Don says, fantastic. Glad they are doing good. We're talking about the kits. Yes. And Vicky says, Beautiful day. Got my raised beds planted yesterday. Awesome. I got some planted last week and I will have a video for you tomorrow. So I guess that's another thing I probably should have said at the beginning, but that's okay. I'm saying now. I have a lot to do for the Quail University course, Raising Quail in Aviaries. And so I will not be posting on Sunday until I get that done, and then that will start up again. And I do have Quail University affiliate link for the 101 course. And I highly recommend, if you have not taken it already, go ahead and click that link and take that course. It's also in the description of all my videos. And it's an affiliate link, so I do get some kickback, but it is really valuable. So here we go. What day was mine born? I wrote it down. Let's see. I didn't write it down. I put it into my Excel spreadsheet. So let's open that. And we had the 7th and, oh great, I didn't write the second one down. Maybe it didn't save. I will tell you if I do pictures. I guess it was the 7th and the 8th then. Wait, no. I'm sorry. That's the wrong line. That's when we rebred rigatoni and ravioli. Actual birth date was the 18th and 19th. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. 18 and 19. Yeah. This is how keeping a spreadsheet is a good idea. And keeping it color-coded is even better, because that's how I work with things. I don't know if you guys work with color coding or not, but color coding is my secret weapon. Vicky says, hatch my own quail chicks the last 2 weekends and have my Shire Jumbo Wilds and sell it on the incubator now. Awesome. I have quail chicks right over there in a tote brooder, because my 3-week-olds are now almost 4 weeks and they are not in the aviary yet. So again, that is part of, I have to do something in the aviary before they can go out, because I'm doing something for that for Quail University. But they are over there and they've been growing. I had 24 hatch out of 44. I do have, well, the males are now gone. The males have been processed, and new males are going in tonight. So the males were old. I didn't expect it to be super, super high rate, but I also I didn't candle the leftover eggs yet, the unhatched eggs. But it was 24, and then one of them hatched really late and it just never fluffed up and it died in the incubator. And then 3 of them, here's an accident. I bumped the brooder, which was on the floor. It's a tote, and the water fell over and 3 of them went bye-bye. So I am down to 20, and that's sad. And I always feel bad when that happens. It doesn't, I don't think I've had that happen before. I've heard of it happening, but it always feels bad when you know it's your fault. So that was definitely my fault. Yeah. But we have little babies. Erin says, we make cocktail in a pan of quail droppings, feed, quick strike, and water. Yeah, see, that's the thing that I'm trying to avoid, is making, that's what I found, is that you have to like bait the bait in order for the quick strike to work outside. But I don't want to bring in additional flies from, I mean, last year I made the mistake of putting up those fly traps, those smelly fly traps, and they bring in, I didn't know this last year. I think I found out at the end of the season last year, they can bring in flies from half a mile away. So basically we super loaded the area, because my neighbor and I both put up fly traps, stinky, attractants. And I'm like, we only had like 20 flies. Now we have hundreds. And so that's, I keep joking I'm going to go put one up over at the school, because that's what they suggest, is when you use the fly predators, they recommend putting up a bait trap like the smelly traps a few hundred feet away. Well, I am in town and I'm not going to go put it in somebody else's yard, right? Yeah. Anyway, there you go. There you go. But that's good to know you make a slurry. Appetizing for them. Yeah, for them, not for us. Verna says, Vicky, you go, girlfriend. Yeah, getting things planted. It's awesome. Huga Homestead's here. Hello. Welcome. And put the pan in sunlight and the flies will enjoy like a buffet. Yeah, I've been putting the sticky traps in mostly in sunlight. And sunlight just outside shade, it seems to be where they like to be hanging out. Anybody who has additional fly tricks, chime in. I've tried Irish Spring soap. It doesn't work. I've tried the bug zappers. Doesn't work. I've tried the vanilla scented air fresheners. Doesn't work. What else have I tried? Quick Strike works, but you have to make a snack for them. Yeah. Let me know what you're doing. I did not clean up. I did fix some leaky waters for animals, and I'm hoping that helps because they do need a certain moisture to to stay a certain moisture. And I have some solutions I am thinking about for some other things. So there you go. All right. Dawn says, congratulations to Vicky. Absolutely. Oh, Verna says Smokey has hers about noon. I wonder if Smokey has a good idea of what time it is because she's inside. I wonder how that affects that. Oh my goodness. 174 seedlings planted and 10 seed packages of seeds. It was quite a Sunday. Did you count everyone? My goodness. My goodness. Good luck. Permethrin isn't that effective against flies. Good to know. Just destroys everything else, right? Yeah. See, I'm getting all the information I can because I need a next step, and there you go. I am going to call a someone local pest control thing and just talk with them and see what non-harmful stuff they can think of. Anyway, there you go. Oh, Hookah's making soap. Nice. That is something I have not done yet. I have soap molds somewhere, but I haven't made soap. Make chocolate. Well, I mean, chocolates from like melting chocolate and putting things in it. All right. Dawn says, you're right about permethrin not affecting flies. I have put it directly on flies and they slow down for a while and then take off again. Yeah, Quick Strike works. You just have to get there. Yeah. And like, I don't really want to coat my yard in Quick Strike. Yeah. Vicky says, Rena, I overslept Saturday. You know, I was busy on Saturday. I'm sorry, Verna. I was going to be on, I was going to go to the My Shire Live yesterday. I fell asleep. I was hanging out on the front porch and little kitty was next to me and I was icing my neck because I've been having issues there. And I fell asleep at probably like 2:30 and woke up at like 5. I'm like, okay, apparently I needed a nap. And I'm not a napper. I have been laying down after work just for a little bit, just to try and transition my brain from work to other things. Trying to manage that stress differently. So I don't know. You guys have tips for that? Let me know. Oh, you have a pair of these and you don't know where you put them? Oh, she is charged at you. That's not good. That's not good at all. Do you want me checking the boat for them? Oh boy. Steve, you and your boat. You know what, Verna? I did order another pair because my dad got me a different kind. I don't even know where they are now, but my dad got me my first pair and then I misplaced them and then I ordered a couple more and then I found them. So I have a few now. And that's okay because I think like if you're doing something with animals and then you're doing something with the yard, you can have, dirty ones and then clean them all together. So they do clean up good though. Yeah. Vernon's was the 22nd. What is it? Oh, the 22nd was when they birthed. Happy Earth Day. 22nd's today, Verna. I thought you said yesterday. Did you say today? Happy Earth Day, everybody. Vicky says, yes, Quail University is extremely valuable and has excellent nuggets even for seasoned quail keepers. I highly recommend. It's a great value that keeps on giving. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Linda has made it just amazing she just puts out more and more things. And it's very awesome. Hatch keeper for kits. Yeah, I've heard of all sorts of different things. I can show you guys what I did. Let me see. I just have to fix a couple colors because I did them backwards. Where are they? Here we go. Yeah, I can show you what mine looks like. Maybe. Okay, well, just understand that I have some work to do on them. But I'll show you guys. Present. Not slides. Present. Share screen. And window. All right, so here's what my window looks like. I have some math up here. I have does, because I know who the buck is at this point. I only have one buck. Category, so the way you do, so Excel has a lot of different things you can do in it. And I learned how to do this category thing. And you can do counts, you can do figuring if you define something as a category. So that's why that's there. And then it has a total up here. And I haven't filled in some stuff yet for this last one, but has a total up here. And then I have how many sold alive, butchered, sold processed. So like how many I butchered versus how many, sell or whatever. And then this needs to move. I don't have this. So anyway, it goes by and I didn't weigh them until the 13th week actually, but I will put that in. I have that information. I just made this for this year and they just started having babies. And then this is something that I haven't started yet really, except for the first hatch. I need to fill in some of this stuff. But yeah. And then if you are trying to set up something like this in Excel, you need a reference. And there's a whole reference thing that I don't understand anymore. I understood when I did it. So there you go. There's a quick glance into my stuff. Okay. What I have that I think would be able to use, but I haven't had time to even learn it right now, is I have Seed Time. I bought it when it was super new. Like super new. When it first came out, I was one of the first ones to get it. And because I have so many ideas of things I can do with this and, planting other people's gardens and stuff like that. And they're adding more and more things. And that was one of the suggestions that I had made to them, is to add something, make it a one and done place to do things. Because they have things like plant it on this day and harvest on this day. Well, you can have bread on this day, born on this day, and then plant and then harvest on the other day. So there's all sorts of ways to deal with it. Yeah, the pan with quick strike kills instantly. It kills very quickly. I mean, they have some neurological effects, and then they're gone. It's just getting them to the quick strike and trying not to make too much of a messy mess. So I don't know. And then, like when I was doing that a lot last year, there was a possum that would come and eat all of the flies on the ground. And I'm like, well, he's still around. I guess it's okay. Yeah. Here we go. Steve says flies like stinky. Thus, if something smells better to them further away from the fly bait, that stink wins. It's not only that though, it's that I think inside of a building there's only certain places, and outside of a building there's so much breeze that goes through. I think it's harder to narrow down where this one scent is coming from. Yeah. Don says, you won't put the fly trap in someone else's yard. My neighbor wanted to drain water from his yard, so he just dug a ditch across the front yard. Waiting for the police now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. Police, and actually, if you want to get the Army Corps involved, it might have something to do with that. Yep. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They deal with navigable waters, so it may be that, or if you have another local water authority, get them involved, because that's illegal. Yep. Don says, I guess no flies this summer since all animals are gone. You'll probably have a hatch, and then they may or may not have a place to go. But yeah. Yeah, Verna says, I just hope that Smokey's milk comes in this time. Yeah, I hope that too. I was concerned about Risotto because her babies they don't look pudgy, but they don't, I mean, some of them look a little too skinny, but they don't look like super, super skinny. So I was a little concerned about her, and I was a little concerned about Penne, her babies, when I first saw them. And then luckily yesterday or last night when I checked, they had nice pudgy bellies. And so that was really nice to see. So hopefully milk comes in. Vicky says, I have 2 quarts of bacon fat. Let me know if you want to render it for soap. For soap with bacon fat, I think you could render that for lard instead, and that might be a better use. I think that might be better. Yeah, Dawn is agreeing. Hope the milk comes in. Yep. Exactly, Verna. Why don't you use bacon grease to cook in? Yep. Oh, Bob's here. Welcome, Bob. I just saw your babies that hatched, came in from the greenhouse, and see you live. Yay! Hopefully I'll have a hatch tomorrow, day 16 for mine. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I might as well go get one and show you. The people on here know what quail look like that are commenting. So anybody's not either for people watching later or people who are not commenting, I'll bring you a quail. All right. This is the baby quail. Almost a week old. About a week old. Ta-da! Yeah, you're going to go in the brooder. Well, probably not tonight. Probably tomorrow. The big one. Then you'll have room. Yeah. So we're starting to get wings with real feathers. They're so tiny. Every single time I hatch them out, I'm like, you're so tiny. You're tiny. Okay, should I let you go back with your friends? Oh, yeah, and look at that little tiny tail. I escaped without poop. All right. Verna says she was due yesterday, Sunday, but she had them today. Okay. Yeah, I just for the rabbits, I don't really give them a due date. I just figure it's going to be 29 to 32 is kind of what I think. And I pretty much go with 30 or 31 because that's what mine have had. Yeah. All right. Everybody saying hi. Don says happy hatching to Bob. Absolutely. Oh, Vicky has a 1/3 quart of bacon fat that I use and refill. I just cooked up about 16 pounds of bacon and have a lot of extra bacon fat in the fridge. Angering hubby. Well, that's a lot of bacon. That is a lot of bacon. Hey, PJ. Got dishes done. That is good. That is good. I showed everybody the cake we made together. There wasn't enough frosting for the side. And yes, it looks homemade because it is. It's super tasty. And apparently I forgot to put the members only for the viewing. So until I saw Ed's comment to me on Facebook, I did not know that was there. So there was a lot more people watching us. Whoops. Hopefully those people will sign up. There you go. Yeah, Bob. He says, I hope it turns out better this time. My elevation has caused some issues, I think. I think so. Everybody saying hi, PJ. Don says, nice spreadsheet. I make lots of accounting Excel spreadsheets and workbooks. Once you know it and once you either understand the functions or understand that, hey, there might be a function for this, you can do so much in there. Like you can do so much in Excel. I know when I went to school, we learned Word and Microsoft, or what's it, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. We didn't learn them. We learned how to type on Word. We learned how to do pluses and minuses and multiplying and dividing on Excel. There's so many more things it can be used for. I learned more in a mapping class that I took, a GIS class that I took in my grad school about Excel than I did at any point before that. And now that I understand that it can have something, like it can actually do these things, if I think, oh, hey, I don't know how to do this, or I need this to do this, you can look it up and figure it out. And sometimes it takes a long time to get the right equation, but they exist, Yeah. Thank you, Dawn. TM's here. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. All right. Everybody saying hi. Vera says, I haven't been able to figure out how to use Excel since the problem I had 14 years ago. It's okay. You don't need it for a lot of things. It is nice to have it do some calculating for you sometimes. And if you want to count, not the sum, but how many things do I have here, then you can just put in count equals count and then the parentheses and then the numbers. Anyway, it's good. It's good. Dawn says, I do have state law. No one can change the water flow or drainage in another's property. Absolutely. I'm telling you, there's federal stuff too, if you want to go down that route. I don't know if it counts for that particular drainage or not, but it could. And also, your state likely has an additional agency that does that. And they manage this for reasons, and sometimes it seems a little silly, and sometimes it absolutely is, is a good reason, like that. Yeah. Hey, Tommy's here. Hi, Silver Creek. Hey, yo, howdy, folks. He says, welcome. Oh, Dawn says, oh, I miss my babies. Yeah. Yep. Was that a male or female? TM, I do not even try to sex the quail until they're 3 weeks old. I only grow feather sexable quail, and the two colored varieties that I have right now are the Jumbo Wild, which is the same as saying brown, Egyptian, wild, Pharaoh. That's the same thing. And I also have the Egyptian Fee. So I have them in separate aviaries for the most part. They will be tonight. And then once those separate aviaries um, are there, the eggs from one go in and the eggs from the other go in. If you want to know right away, um, you can have the roux of one, not the roux, the it's the roux gene, not the redhead gene, the roux, R-O, what is it, U-X or something like that, R-O-U, R-U-E, whatever it is. I believe that has to be the male and the female has to be the wild type of that. So basically, if you wanted to do this, you would have to, like, as a reliable thing, you would have to have 3 aviaries or 3 cage setups. You would have to have one of the wild type, one of the redhead, and then one of both. And then whatever hatches out from the both one, um, you would know right away which ones are males and which ones are females as soon as they hatch, based on color. But to replace their parents, you would have to replace males from over here and females from over here and males from over here. So I don't do that. Other people do. All right. Verna says, I picked up Blue's baby Saturday and it peed in my hand. I died laughing. I don't know that I've had a baby pee on me yet for bunnies. The quail definitely, like almost every single time. This time didn't. Yeah. PJ says, oops, did we talk bad about anybody? I don't think so, because we know it's being recorded for future people to see. So I don't think so. I don't generally talk bad about most people. Anyway. TM says, I want to try and make some pemmican. I have made pemmican. But I made it with peanut butter instead of the lard, and it was tasty. We did. It's not going to last as long as the lard, but or the fat. It was, what was it? It was peanut butter and jerky and some sort of dried fruit. I don't think it was raisins, but I think it was some sort of dried fruit, and you put it together and you basically pack it together, and it's not as hard as the real pemmican stuff, but it does last, if you're going to be gone for a couple days or something, it does last in the backpack. Yeah. I did that when I went backpacking and it worked out pretty good. Oh, Verna's saying you used to know how to do all that before the incident. I see. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Yeah. PJ says, been crazy busy here, cleaning pens, babysitting a friend's daughter, ducks, turkeys, silkies hatching, and a surprise piglet. I am now syringe feeding. So I saw that picture, PJ. It looks pretty small. Is mom just not feeding that one? Is it a runt? Or did she only have one? Yeah. No carpet in your house, right? Cedar Creek says, I have to change the water drainage flow in my yard. If I don't, my neighbor's house would flood. We had to build a pond and a dam that to keep that from happening. Yeah, here, I'm basically on flat land. It does slope slightly this way, so like it's kind of like here's the property. It tilts up, I think here and down here. It's like on the corners. It does tilt that way, but it's very, very shallow tilt. And like you wouldn't even know. I did dig some very deep ditches to get past the percolation line, which around here was about 4.5 feet in the back and over 5 feet in the front. Yeah, with a shovel. And the one in the back has 2 downspouts from the roof and the overflow for the pond to go to it. And the one on the front has 2 downspouts from the roof. And so I only have 1 downspout over here on this corner that doesn't go into the ground. And I mean, that it really, really, really increases the goes right into the ground, into the aquifer, once it percolates through. And what I did is I took some landscaping fabric and laid that in the trench, and my whole front yard was covered with that red lava rock. And so it has red lava rock in it. That's a space filler so that you can still walk over it. You can whatever. But there's a lot of space for water as well. And so that, I don't think that has ever backed up. My downspouts definitely has, but I don't think that has ever backed up. And all of that is underneath wood chips or underneath the ground in the case of the front yard. So that it actually, you don't even see it. It's pretty cool. The groundwater recharge there in action. And yeah, I do also have a pond. Not engineered or anything. I just dug it with a shovel. It's like 4 feet on one side, and then this side has like a shelf, like maybe that deep. And I really should have done a shelf all the way around. I just didn't think. How about that? Let's scroll. Dawn says, I use state law on the fiber cable company who totaled our ditch in the back alley area, and they got right on fixing it. Okay, good. Good. And PJ's allergies, am I interpreting that right? Are kicking your butt. Okay. Well, good luck. Get some rest. Have some quail soup. Yeah, allergies. Dawn says, I did Egyptians with 3 cages and loved watching them hatch. Absolutely. Yeah. Verna says, it filled my palm and onto the floor. Oh, the pee? Oh, the bunny pee. How funny. Oh, Tommy, they tax you on your pond? That's to keep the flood waters easy. Why would they tax you on a pond? That's interesting. I mean, my pond is probably much smaller than your pond. Mine's just hand dug. TM says, hang in there. One will pee on you eventually. Yeah. Yep. Part of raising animals. Huga says, finish my rose orange soap with loofahs for my 4 sisters for Mother's Day. Awesome. Christina, who I don't know if she's on here, she also does the loofah soaps. It's good. Pink and girly with a loofah in each bar. Are they girly girls? Oh boy. PJ says there were others, but we found someone had eaten them. So this one was in the mud, cold. Oh. Someone had eaten them. Meaning like you guys have mountain lions or coyotes or dogs, something? That's interesting. Huga says, I have been making turmeric soap that I like. Does that dye your skin? I like turmeric. Piggy's doing well. Good. Steve says, the Army Corps of Engineers build my friend's pond and they get a credit for loss of land for helping prevent flooding in the area. That's more what I would expect because you're building a wetland. So, Tommy, what I would do is I would reach out to conservation districts near you and see if you can put if you can put a conservation easement on that. I know people don't really like that, but if you can put a conservation easement on that and see if that changes things, because that becomes more valuable to them then, it's worth exploring. That's all I'm saying. And then get back to me and see what happens. And And all that means is that you probably wouldn't be able to destroy it in the future. But if you're not going to destroy it in the future anyway, then it doesn't matter. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Don says that's nice. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Verna wants to know what Hugo's using for soap base. Oh, Tommy. Okay, goat's milk for the basis of the soap. I've heard that a lot. Silver Creek says, yes, Texas taxes us on every building and the pond, even though it only holds water like 3 to 4 months out of the year. Well, I mean, Texas is almost Texas. Wait, is it? It is backwards. Switch the vowels and you have it. Oh boy. Oh, you're on the county line, so still 2 different counties. Have to do tax on both. Interesting. You should be able to. Is it a full tax? Because you'd think that they would only tax for their portion of the land, their where their line is. And if not, I mean, put that on your federal taxes as a loss. Not a tax person. Just look into it. Yeah, Silver Creek says, thanks, I'm going to look that up because, yeah, it's saving my neighbors' houses. Yeah, look up Conservation District and NRCS, Natural Resources Conservation Service, Science Service. NRCS, look up them too because they likely have some programs that will help you. Yeah. Lucas says you don't use that much turmeric. It doesn't dye your skin. Yeah. TM says, I had a friend that had a place where the county dug red dirt for roads. He was hoping to have a pond when they finished with it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, ponds are good. And as long as you have as long as they're not mosquito traps, then they're good. And that's something else. I mean, Silver Creek Tommy doesn't need my advice on fish, but for everybody else listening, they will also do fish stuff. And if anything, they're going to throw mosquito fish in there, which I don't like, but they can actually wreak havoc on the ecosystem pretty bad in certain areas. If you're not connected to anything and you're not going to, overflow your pond and go to something, then it's completely fine. But yeah, they get into the natural system and eat everything. Yeah. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Hugo says, Happy Earth Day. Did you plant something today? That's a good question. Silver says, school only on one, but yeah, one is about half the price of the other. But the big one had the pond and the school tax. Maybe you need to ask to be seeded into the other county. I wonder what the process is for that. Department of Natural Resources. That's what it is out where you are. I'm not sure if that's where it is in Texas or not. But that is another one. If that's what Texas has. Yeah, gambusia. Isn't gambusia the mosquito fish? Yeah, BT and gambusia. I use goldfish and ruby red minnows because that's what was at PetSmart. So there you go. And tadpoles to feed the needed water snakes. I put tadpoles in my pond once because I rescued them from a mud puddle that was drying up. They were never going to make it. And I had frogs for a couple of years and they've since left. So I don't know if the local cats got them or what. Yeah. Ken's here. I made it. Welcome, Ken. Yep, Daphnia. I don't know what Scuds is. Do I know what Scuds is? Dragonfly nymphs. Dragonflies reproduce in my pond. Damselflies reproduce. I've had water striders in there when I had more surface water available. Yeah. Yeah. Dawn says, hey, Ken, hey, did you wake up? DM says happy Earth Day. Hugo says I planted strawberries and cucumber. Awesome. Awesome. And Silver Creek says yes, mosquito fish. I also have native bluefin killis, which will survive as long as the water doesn't freeze, and black-tail shiners. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Right, yes, yes. Dragonfly nymphs are freaking warriors. Underwater, they eat everything, even fish fry. Fish fry is another name for baby fish. The right name for baby fish. And yes, they look alien. Like they don't look anything like they're adults, for sure. Steve says bass, birds, frogs, and turtles eat mosquito fish. Yeah, but mosquito fish eat a lot of other fish. Yeah. Killie fish. Okay. Did I miss? Oh, killies. Okay. Like a killie? Oh, Dawn's getting off for the night. Everyone have a good night. Good night, Dawn. Thank you for coming on. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour. And Silver King says, yeah, I jumped back the first time I saw a dragonfly nymph. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they do bite. I'd like to point that out. They are predators in the water and out of the water, meaning in the water when they're nymphs and out of the water when they are flyers. And they actually eat while flying, which is ridiculous. They'll nab a bug out of the air and then eat it while they're flying. Don wants to know, has anyone heard that chickens eat mice? They run to get them? Matt with Grafted Branch Homestead has a video about that, that his chicken did go after that. I've heard that, and I think probably my pet chickens probably wouldn't, but some more wildish chickens probably would. My chickens that like me to hand feed them probably wouldn't, but other chickens would. Yes, they will. All right. Tommy says killifish basic translates to mud pond fish. They are very interesting. The ones in Africa, they all rain fish because their eggs will survive on land until there's enough rain from the hatch. We found one time it was somebody dumped them in a vernal pool. There was these skinny fish that stand vertically if it's going to rain. You know what that one is? I forget what it's called. I think I'll recognize it if I see it or hear it. Yeah. Huh. Silver Creek says they call they call them rainfish? Hot archers. I don't remember it though. Might have to look that up. But they look really weird. They look really weird. Yes, TM says I have seen chickens eat mice on YouTube videos. Yep. No, I think it started with L. That fish. And I don't remember the name of it, but it was really weird. We collected it because we knew it didn't belong where it was. And somebody had it for a while. I don't know if he still has them. He kept them. But it was something in the aquatic trade. And they can like go across water. I mean, go across land a little bit. Anyway, I don't know why someone. Yes, Skinny Nose that points up. Silver Creek, I will have to look for one. It's buried from several years ago. But yes, I do have a picture that someone else sent me. I should just ask him to send me it. Maybe pencilfish if it has a different name. Anyway, it was interesting to see. It was super interesting to see. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I like critters. Yes, I like critters too. I'm a wildlife ecologist, so I like critters. All right. Does anybody have anything else we haven't tried for flies already? Big old fan. Blow them away. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, the pencil ones or it might be a type of pencil one. Fish. Razor fish or shrimp fish, vertical swimmers. They don't swim vertically. They just, when it's going to rain, they go from this way to this way. And I don't know why. Yeah. Anyway, we don't have to figure out now. I will try and I'll try to remember to get the name from my coworker. See if he still has them. I don't remember what they're called. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, you want me to copy something? What is it? Lined pencils. I'll look for that. Lined pencils. Fish. Those look more minnowy. Like, no, these were super skinny. They were super skinny, I think, as to my recollection. But yeah. Anyway, there you go. So the heat is heating up here. I don't know how hot it's been around the country, if you guys are all the way out of winter yet, but I'm hoping people will start their gardens soon. I have planted some stuff. It looks like Vicky planted some stuff. Some other people might have planted some stuff. And yeah, I want to know what you guys are up to planting. I think a large part of the country waits until Mother's Day, which is coming up. Yeah, I think I saw Tommy planting some stuff already, and Verna planted something already too. Yeah, I still have things to plant. I got a couple tomato plants from a neighbor. She started more than she needed, and so I will be growing those. But first, I have to weed out the bed it goes in. So there you go. Brenna says, I bought a lot of plants and will plant them tomorrow. I will say this. I was going to pull out my strawberries, but they're coming back. They do come back sometimes when you're not thinking that they're going to come back. Yeah. If anything, I would plant next to them, in case they do come back. No, TM. Mosquitoes, you just gotta live with them. When I lived in Mississippi, they sprayed for them and from airplanes. That is terrible. That is terrible. PJ's not planting yet. You're pretty north though, right? Hockey sticks. Okay, we're gonna look up hockey sticks. Hockey sticks fish. They look skinny. Like these aren't skinny enough. To my recollection, they were like that long and like skinny. Almost scar-like, except for tiny. Yeah. Hockey sticks point upward, another pencil. But I think you're talking about the yellowish ones, almost dark orange, that have almost micro gar-like beak. That's what I remember, is it being like super skinny. Yeah. And Verna says, next weekend I will be planting a bunch of sweet potato slips. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I don't think I'm planting that this year. I didn't even harvest the ones last year. I accidentally harvested one when I pulled up something, but I plant that again. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Tommy. Got to rely on you for something. He says, okay, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name though. Really cool fish. Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. I will try and remember to ask my coworker, because he took them home and figured it out. Guy got struck by lightning twice? Oh my goodness. Hugo says, I have tomato plants that need to go in the ground soon, or will have to go or we have to up pot again. Yeah, get them in the ground. And tomatoes you can plant deep or you can plant on their sides. When I transplant tomatoes, I actually like to plant them on their sides because they're going to get more water and more nutrients from shallow-ish than from deep. And then all those little furry things along the stem, every single one of those can become a root. And so you just get more roots and more availability of nutrients by planting them on their sides or deep, but I prefer to do on the sides. Yeah. Silver Creek says, it's been so wet here, I put suckers straight in the ground after a bit of a prune, and they are standing straight up even after a week. There you go. Yeah, it was wet here too, and I have the water going now. And one of my beds is actually really, really wet, so not sure what to do about that. I'm gonna have to. I don't think I have a leak because everything's going through, but it is pretty wet. That's where I plan to plant the tomatoes, so I should look at that. First, I need to weed it. Give the chickens a snack. Verna says, in the green stock, I will plant them as deep as possible. Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I know the green stalks had the automatic water thing, but it just didn't make sense to me. And I had asked them, and they not asked them like, "Hey, can you make this?" But asked them on my videos. Maybe they saw it. To make a lid for these things, and they did, but they did the lid so that it has like a spout off one side. So if you rotate it, all of the irrigation goes with it. I'm like, no, it needs to be at the top in the center so you can have something go up and over and down so that when you spin it, it doesn't move. And they did not. Hopefully, they will do a rendition, a different rendition. Maybe they'll do a Sow and Tare rendition. I need to talk to them about that. I don't know. You guys think they'll answer? TM says, always wanted to try planting tomatoes one of each way I can think of just to test it out and see which one does best. I did one year with doing the egg in the bottom, and none of them did very well at all. And I don't know if that was just the year or if it had anything to do with the egg. Yeah. So Creek says, I'm trying some new tomatoes this year. Cream sausage and hillbilly. I've grown hillbilly. I have not heard of the other one. But hillbilly, I don't even remember it. So wasn't that good. It might have just been a regular one. Like a regular plain old tomato. I like the purple ones, but not the purple cherry ones because they just don't taste good. But things like black Krim, purple Cherokee, purple Celebrity, those ones. You're going to grow them on top of your normal? Oh, not on top. We're just in addition to. I'm like, how are you growing them on top? Silver Creek also says, I'm also trying some fancy peppers as well. They are called candy canes. Cool. And have a variegated leaf, green with white splotching. Awesome. And Verna's doing the mortgage lifter again. You know, the one time I planted mortgage lifter, it did not lift my mortgage. It did very poorly. Again, could have been the year. Although other things did good that year. And TM says, I always tried beefsteak tomatoes. There are so many different kinds of beefsteak tomato. Yeah. And Silver says, I like yellows and purples. Pineapple is a good one if you like yellows. Green zebra is good if you want green. The reason to grow the green, in my opinion, is mostly so you don't get pest damage. So like if birds are bothering your tomatoes, you don't go in there and go, oh, here's tomatoes. Yeah. And Silver Creek says, yep, all of the above have Black Crim's growing as well as Indigo Sun. The beefsteaks are good. Yeah. I like most tomatoes, but I actually prefer tomatoes cooked in a sauce form than raw. If there's going to be the raw ones, I much prefer the purple varieties. And for the cherry varieties, I actually like them dehydrated better than raw. And I don't know why, but I do. There we go. Oh, Tommy's favorite tomato ever is the heirloom tangerine tomato. 1 pound, huh? Wow. Verna says, Mortgage Lifter seems to be a later tomato, but remember how big one got? I do remember. You need an early girl to pair with that one, Verna. And Steve says, hillbilly tomatoes make the best tomato sandwiches. There you go. I mean, Cherokee Purple and Black Crim, they're also very good on sandwiches. And, it's just, big, thick slice there. Renee's garden has tangerines. They're delicioso. TM says, I need more room for a garden. I can't grow everything I want to. I understand, TM. I understand. For sure. I highly recommend green stalks for small space growing. And I highly recommend it. And I also highly recommend vertical gardening, because if you are vertical gardening, the spacing that they put on packets of seeds is for planting them and letting things sprawl. That's what it's for. So if you're planting like cucumber and you're growing up a trellis, you can plant them closer. Or you can plant other things, like maybe you do something up the trellis in the middle and you plant other things on the sides. So like right now I have cucumbers that are going to go up the trellis, and on the bottom part I have my summer squashes. So the summer squashes will go out, and then the cucumbers will go up. So it's using space wisely. Oh, you did have an early girl. Okay. That's good. And Verna's mortgage lifter had one about 2.5 pounds. Oh my goodness. That's a big one. Silver Creek says, if you hard prune them, they will definitely get 1 pound. If you run a lot of fruiting branches, the fruits will average 12 to 14 ounces. But in the end, I think you're going to get more if you do the 12 to 14 ounces. I don't prune tomatoes where I am because I'm not going for the biggest and the best tomato. And I'm also not in an area that is wet or humid in the summer when the tomatoes are growing. So we don't get that whole moisture danger that a lot of people do. Yeah. Yes, TM, a 2.5 pound tomato is pretty big. Yep. Yeah, she did a video on it. I don't remember if it was a short or a video. I think it was a full video. Yeah. So Creek says, cheers to another great year of growth, y'all. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Here, should I cheers you? Do you have something to cheers with? I have water. Because I was running late. Didn't get my tea done. Silver Creek says, I did a bit of chaos gardening this year. I have sunflower and lentils all over to keep the invasive weeds from popping up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can put seeds out, and I am actually thinking about doing that maybe next year, because I have a lot of seed packets that are a little bit older, and they're depending on the variety of seed, age does or doesn't make a difference. And like things like corn, I mean, we see corn from the Mayans and stuff, and they still grow. So like there's certain things, but carrots are a little bit more finicky. I would like to kind of have just a year where everything is planted everywhere and whatever comes up comes up. I actually have tomatoes coming up from last year, And those tomatoes, there's 2 or 3. It's not from last year. Yeah, it is. It's from last year. And tomatoes are not in that bed this year, but those tomatoes I think are just going to be in that bed this year. Sometimes they move them, sometimes they don't. I might end up moving some. And Silver Creek says, "Oh, I bastardized tomatoes and peppers. I love experimenting." Oh boy. TM says, "I always like pickling green tomatoes at the end of the year." I have never pickled green tomatoes. I have, however, made salsa out of it, and it's very good. And I would like to try, there's a green tomato curry that I would like to try at some point as well. Yeah. And then Berta put the link. I'm assuming that's to the tomato video. Yeah. Steve says, "Our problem is we tend to pick the green tomatoes to fry and can't figure out why we never get enough tomatoes." Because you're eating them when they are the wrong color. Verna says, "TM, if you take those green tomatoes, wrap them in newspaper, and put them on the shelf in the basement, then you'll have tomatoes all the way to Christmas." They do ripen. They don't taste like sun-ripened tomatoes, but they do taste like tomatoes. So that is something you can do. Yeah. Yeah, it was a big tomato. Silver Creek says, "I keep a lot of the natural growth in my garden this year." Oh, I kept the pollinator attractors, kept the forageable greens like wild chard, as really keeping the other invasives back pretty well. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the borage this year in the front is just taken over. I have some weeds out there, but not a whole lot. Yeah. TM says they are real small tomatoes. There are some. The one that Verna showed was pretty big. Silver Creek says, "Small maters are great. Yellow pear are perfect summer snacks while working outside." I had a yellow pear tomato volunteer from my neighbors, and it was in the crack. We have our houses, like the walls of the houses are 10 feet apart, and then there's like a sidewalk that we both have, and then there's a crack in between. And one volunteered there, and it actually had it grew. So there's a fence going in the middle, so it grew 7 feet tall, 10 feet wide, just because that's how wide the houses are, and 17 feet long. And that we were both like tiptoeing through it to get, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Verna says, "Still tastes better than store-bought." Yep. Any tomato is better than no tomatoes. Facts. Yes, true. Except blueberry tomatoes. No, thank you. I planted. It was just from a nursery. It was a blueberry tomato. It was a cherry tomato variety. It was nasty. It was so nasty, I pulled it out. And I don't pull out plants for very much. I made the decision I did not want that to self-seed in my yard. They were that bad. They were the ones that turn the purple blue with the sun exposure. And yeah, I do not recommend blueberry tomatoes. And who knows, there's probably several different varieties called that. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, the tomatoes that I'm growing this year are things from the store and things that my neighbor grew. So that's where I am. I was going to plant all sorts of stuff this year, and it just did not happen. I had too many things going on, and it just didn't happen. Yeah. I have Malabar spinach. Yep. So Tommy's asking, have you tried Malabar spinach yet? Warning, it will drop many, many seeds and take over an area with beautiful red vines and black, thick, crisp green and red variegated leaves and edible. Mine don't have variegated leaves. They do have just very thick mucilaginous leaves. And it's not really my favorite thing. I was going to try freeze drying it to see if I could get it kind of a different consistency. And I just didn't get to it last year. And they actually didn't, not many came up last year. I've had that in my yard for many, many years. And I mean, after the first year of planting it, I was like, oh, I'm going to plant this over here this year. And then I looked and there were like hundreds of seedlings coming up. I'm like, I guess I'm not. You're going to live here forever. So yeah, plant it where you want it for sure. TM says, I've never had self-seeding tomatoes. It's usually the cherry tomatoes that do it. I did not have any cherry tomatoes finally. Not like a good thing, just finally. I don't think I had any cherry tomatoes last year. Usually there's a volunteer somewhere. And the volunteer tomato in the front, I think, is dead. It had like 3 years of growing and not giving any fruit. What the heck are you? And I think it was a regular sized tomato. That's the way it looked. That's the way it grew. But yeah. Yeah, if you let tomatoes rot in the yard, they'll let you know when they're coming up. I mean, if they're coming up, you might as well plant tomatoes at that point because they're going to grow. And they're going to be your hardiest ones because they've gone through the winter. They've decided that they're going to be the ones to grow. I mean, how many seeds actually, were out there and only that many grew, right? So Creek says 2 years, it will take over a 10-foot tall and wide area. Easy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't encourage it either. It just happened. I grew it 1 year and then it continued to grow. You're looking for seeds for miner's lettuce. I don't know if mine are done seeding. I might have some. Are you sure? You guys have some sort of Claytonia over there, don't you? Because there's field purslane, and that's actually more tasty than miner's lettuce. That's a weed in a lot of places. Yeah. You guess you eat them? You got to be a messier gardener, TM. I've never had San Marzanos. I've heard of them. But shout out to canning folks out there for those. I like the flavor of the heirlooms. I like that deep, of the ones that I've listed before. I like that deep flavor, that deep richness. And when you reduce that, it takes a longer time to reduce. When you reduce that, though, the spaghetti sauce that comes out of it, the tomato sauce that comes out of it, everything that comes out of it is just so much better than Roma or some of these sauce tomatoes. I just think it's so much better. Yeah. Tam says, I move my tomatoes every year, or at least I try to. Good idea. And Verna says, yes, I am sure. We have purslane look-alike that is poisonous. Okay. Okay. Because the common purslane is the one that I'm thinking is like a field weed, but it's actually much tastier and it grows prostrate and it's more crisp. Yeah. But it is good to know if you have a poison look like. There's multiple different kinds. Claytonia is for those that don't know, Claytonia is the genus of miner's lettuce that I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the baby's got quiet. They all went to bed, maybe, huh? Not dark in here. Well, I still have to plant green beans, and I am going to do that over here on a long bed over here. They were there, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago that I planted them over there. So I can plant them over there. And so I'll be planting that. And then I haven't figured out really what I'm going to plant underneath. I'm thinking maybe spinach underneath, but I'm not sure. And then I have the green stalks to plant still. I just haven't done all this because there's so much to do. Yeah. So you guys ran out of questions on our topics. String beans or bush beans? They are stringless green beans that are pole beans. So, no, they're in another room. There is I think it's called emerite or emetrite, something like that. It's a variety that I planted a few years in a row, and I really like. I found out I don't like to string the string beans. I find that my time is more valuable doing other things, and so I don't do it, and that's not good. So I have decided that all the green beans that I grow are going to be stringless, and or nearly so. There's some that are like almost stringless, and so that is what I am doing. This one variety that I have is a really good variety for that. I know there's bush beans that are also stringless. I know Christina grew some last year. I don't know if Erin's still on, but there was a variety that she had recommended of bush bean that was good. Yeah, I have grown cowpeas and I have grown like beans, like black beans and pinto beans and all of that, but it's not worth it where I am because in order to grow enough of them to do anything with, I would have to plant my whole yard in that crop. So I have decided not to do that on this property at least. All right. Tommy says, question, what are your feelings on the Amazon and the majority of it being within the confines of Brazil under an indifferent government about policies with conservation at the moment? I have not been paying attention to like directly for a while. Amazon's always on fire. It's basically burned for agricultural purposes. That's the reason why the different governments do that. And or not the governments, but the people in those governments, not the people in the governments. How do I say this? The people in those countries, that's why they're doing it, is they're doing it to fund their own livelihoods. So taking that into consideration, I think there's a lot of things that need to happen to help with that. And I think if you help with that, then the Amazon issue will be less it'll be an easier issue, I guess. So the slash and burn lifestyle that area basically is living is not a good one. I mean, the Amazon has a lot of important things that happens. I mean, this world is so connected. The sands from the Sahara fertilize the Amazon. Like that's how the world works. It's across an ocean, and we know this because we you can see it on satellites and trace it and all of that. So the Amazon is a very important ecosystem to our planet for breathing and its role in both carbon sequestration and oxygen output. Now, one could argue that grasslands and prairies do more carbon sequestration, and I believe that to be correct, and someone can fact check me if you want. I don't care. But that is also an ecosystem that does a lot of that. But I think in order to lessen the problem, it's really a people issue. It's a livelihood issue. And conservation is great and conservation is good. And sometimes it takes into account those people and sometimes it doesn't. And when conservation doesn't take into account those people, then they're not really conserving. And if you want to read some really good, interesting stuff, let me see if I can spell his name. I'm going to type it into Google first. Robin Rabinowitz. I met him. Okay, I was going to spell it right, but I'm just going to copy it from here. He's a big cat. He's a big cat biologist. I think he actually passed. He may have passed. I met him several years ago at the carnivore conference in Florida. And so he's a big cat biologist who has gotten involved in really, really. Apparently, I didn't turn in my. Hang on, guys. I got to plug in my computer because the battery saver's on. I plugged it in, but I didn't plug it in over here. All right, there we go. So if you're interested, I would look up some of his books, Robin Rabinowitz, and look up some of his books. He has a very reader-friendly, although he is a scientist, it's in story form. So it's his story of going through life and his stories about going through these different areas. And he has been in some fairly hostile situations. Himself, but not really just himself. He's been a part of bringing countries together for the purpose of conservation when these two countries are at war and destroying themselves and each other and each other's habitats and all of that. So he is if you want to read some really, really interesting stuff about conservation that works and some of the tactics he used, then I highly recommend reading some of his stuff. He was a child. When he was a child, he was labeled as mentally retarded, and most of that was he didn't talk. He stuttered when he talked, and he didn't talk. He just chose not to talk. And he said during his keynote speech, he said that people who stutter they have really bad stuttering. He as an adult had less stuttering, but people who stutter can speak clearly either when singing or when talking to animals. And he says, my singing voice isn't very good. And so he would talk to animals. And so he's a big cat biologist. He's allergic to cats. Was he from the USA? I want to say yes, but I don't know. It's been so long since I read his stuff, and I met him. When did I meet him? I want to say like 2007, 2008, something like that. He may have passed. I don't know. Hopefully I'm not spreading bad rumors. But yeah, he's an awesome awesome person, loves animals, loves conservation, and was able to talk with people who are hostile towards each other and get them to agree on stuff for wildlife. And some of the conservation tactics are things like giving people pigs, because if they can raise their own food and teach them how to raise their own food, they won't go out into the bush and hunt the animals that are going extinct, or they won't have to they won't have to go and hunt animals that are rare to get paid to live if their own situation is a better situation. So he actually went into that. You did not expect this little tangent, did you, Tommy? Anyway, read some of his stuff and let me know what you think of him. He has some very interesting stories to tell for sure. He's not shy in the storytelling department. And yeah, there you go. All right. Hopefully that was a good enough answer for you. Yeah, I don't know the current policies around the Amazon and Brazil right now. I do know there's a lot of sketchy stuff that has happened historically down there and probably now, but I am not informed to the day, so I can't answer that directly. All right. Verna says, a couple of the garden centers that I went to, most of the veggie plants had the start of powdery mildew. That's not good. They should be treating that. So powdery mildew can wipe off, but you can treat it with half milk and half water and spray it on. I have never treated it because it's always come at the end of the season for me, and I just let it do its thing. What I do with those leaves is I feed them to the animals. I feed them to the birds. So yeah. TM says we grew Kentucky Wonders pole bean one time and I really like them. That's good. That's good. It's nice when you find one that you really like and hopefully it grows for you a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I think I lost people with my spiel. Maybe it's just getting late. Yeah, I don't remember if he's from the USA. I think he's either from the USA or from England or something. I think he was from here. I don't remember. I need to reread his books now, though. Yeah. You guys are all researching him now, aren't you? All right. Silver Creek says, dang, movie night starting. Thanks, y'all. Katrina, you rock like Fraggle. Thank you, Tommy. Have a good movie night. Hopefully it's a good movie. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, the conversation has slowed down. You guys have more things you want to talk about? More things you're growing this year? More, what else we talk about? Anti-fly things? That's probably it, Verna. Did I not spell it that way? R-A? Let's see. Is it R-A? That's a female. And she's a litigator. It's not a person. Alan Robinowitz, not Robin. It's named Alan, right? Did I get that right? I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. Copy paste. Yep. Alan Rabinowitz. I was going for the Robin part. Yes. I only met him once. Thank you, Verna. Yes. Alan Rabinowitz. Yeah, he apparently died at 64. Yeah, died in 2018. But he has some pretty good books that are really just they're written for people. They're not just written for scientific stuff. They're written for people to read. So yeah. Yeah, so here's a little bio. Rabinowitz's greatest achievements was the conceptualization and implementation of the Jaguar corridor, a series of biological and genetic corridors for the jaguars across the entire range from Mexico to Argentina. The big cats are some of the most spectacular, iconic apex predators in the world. He's worked with tigers and stuff too as well. We all make errors. We forgive you. Thank you. Uh, yeah, and for those that don't know, we have jaguars in the United States. Their historic um, their historic range actually went quite far north. Uh, White people came and hunted them out, and they were gone for a long time. There is some work now in Arizona. I know. I don't know if Texas has any or not. I don't. If Silver Creek is still listening, do you guys have any jaguar stuff going on in Texas? I know there is in Arizona. There's some cameras in some of the regions, like the mountainous regions, and they're coming in. They're coming back, and so this is pretty interesting because it's a very, very wide-ranged critter, and it's pretty cool. Um, yeah. And Verna did a link to, and I'm gonna mute it. Yeah, the conservation of wildcats. Yep. So there you go. And Black Panthers and what? We just call them under different names. No, his name wasn't Robin. It was Rabinowitz. Uh, TM says it is black jaguars that are questionable and black panthers. A panther is actually, they're actually different animals. They're actually different animals. So yeah, they're different animal. They're different. There's lots of big cats. The most widespread is the cougar, the mountain lion, that has so many different names. Puma concolor is the scientific name for that. And yeah. Oh, you're talking jaguar, different names. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the thing is, lots of different animals have different names, but depending on the region, right? Um, I had a professor in my undergrad who is a scatologist. Did you hear that word? It's a real word. Scatologist, a person who studies scat. And he does research down in Paraguay and at a refuge. And they have done genetic studies for years now. I'm assuming he still goes down there. I actually haven't talked to him in a long time. Good night, Verna. Um, and and the native people there, they trained to identify the certain scat and of this different species, and they pick clean twigs, they put them in a bag, use them to put them in a bag, and they get paid per sample. And that's another way to encourage people, local people, to make money a different way so that they don't need to go and do things that are bad for conservation. But something that he just had to accept is that there's 3 different cat species there that are small cats with spots. And they are different species, they have different names. But in that local region, it has one name. There's one name for all 3 of those cats. So they have to deal with that, and that's fine. They just name it that, and then, okay, it's one of these 3. And then they can do the genetic markings and stuff. So anyway, There you go. There's some biology for you. We ran the gambit tonight. And hopefully it was good. All right. Verna's good. Verna by. Let's see. People claim to see a Black Panther in Mississippi all the time. But what, TM? Birdie woke up. I know, like, my boss is a big cat expert, a cougar expert, and he gets sent pictures of house cats all the time of someone thinking that it's a mountain lion. And more often than not, it's a house cat. Every once in a while, it's a bobcat. And so people's ability in general to know size and to claim what color things were and all of that is actually not that high as a general sense. And it's kind of funny. Every once in a while, he'll get a picture of a cat, like a kitty cat, and someone will be like, "What? I found a mountain lion." And they're like, "No, this is a kitty cat. Not even the right size." TM, you have a but on the end of your comment. Is there something else that comes after it? Or are you just saying, but it's not? Shadows, too. People see things that are in shadow, and they'll think it's a black, you know. Okay, but you need to do a show on Bigfoot and jackalopes one day for fun. There you go. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. We'll go looking for them. With snipes, too. Although snipe is also a bird, so there you go. All right, guys, things are winding down, so I'm thinking about calling it a night. Oh, except for Ed came on. Ed, you missed our conversation. You couldn't finish the story. Did I not finish the story? The story was that people don't see what they think they see. What story did I not finish? Okay, by all legs, Ed says. Ed, thank you for messaging me, and I just wasn't on when it would make sense to be on. But thank you for the effort. Yeah. What story am I finishing, TM? I don't know. All right, guys. I will see you guys next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And yeah, plant something by then. Celebrate Earth Day today. Ed's eyes are always kept out, for sure. You're the master of that. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm headed out. We'll see you next week. And have a wonderful week. Thank you for coming. Good night.